Hello team, welcome back to my channel. My name is Abigail Grace, or Abby, and today we're back on the book video grind. I know the last few weeks have been travel vlogs, but I had a lot of footage and I had to split it up into two videos, so if you haven't watched those, go watch them because it was a really good trip. But this week we're going to be doing reading books from authors I haven't read before, so new authors. And I planned on doing like 3 books for this video, but one of the books that I planned, I already started and finished before I could even talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it here. I'll still do 3 videos, so there will be 4 books total in this video. I think I said 3 videos. There's going to be 3 books that I'll actually read with y'all, but I still want to kind of include the first one, even though there won't be like vlog footage of me reading it, and I want to include it. So the book is Bad Publicity by Bianca something. Let me check on her last name because I am not sure. Bianca Gillam. This book actually doesn't come out until May of next year, May of 2025, which I don't think I realized it was so far away from being published, but I obviously read an arc of it. I got an arc through NetGalley, and I had never heard of Bianca Gillam, and so thought it would be perfect to include in this video. But I did finish it quicker than I thought I was going to. I was like, oh, I'll start it, but like I'll be able to just kind of like jump in from wherever I am and talk about it a little bit. Nope, finished it in one day. Way too quick. Not way too quick. It was really good. I gave it 5 stars. Let me back up. The premise is it's like a workplace romance, and it's our FMC and MMC, Andy and Jack, knew each other in college, in university. They're both British, and they're both now living and working in New York, but they knew each other in university. They went to school in Edinburgh, in Scotland, and something happened. We don't know what it was, but they had a falling out. They now haven't seen each other in 5 years, and Andy has like strong hatred feelings towards Jack. But on her first day of her new job, she finds out that one of the authors that she's going to be representing, because she's a publicist, is Jack. So she's going to have to be able to work with him. But in addition to that, he's going on a European book tour, and she is going to go with him and have to spend a whole month traveling around Europe with him as he's doing this book tour. And that's kind of the premise. And the whole book is like them obviously working through stuff in the present. You get 2 chapters that are in the past, like 5 years ago. And honestly, I said this in my review on Goodreads, but often in books like this where they like, there's a friendship breakup or just a breakup or some kind of argument, the reason for the argument or for the rift is kind of either something that feels unimportant and it shouldn't have caused 5 years of anger between 2 people, or it's something so serious that it feels like we're kind of moving on too quickly. Like we shouldn't be forgiving and forgetting right away, even if it's 5 years. Like, the sex is not that good to get over it, you know, kind of thing. But I do think, and obviously I won't tell you what it is because that would completely spoil it, but I do think the reasoning behind their split, their like tension, is really well done. And talked about in such a way that I understand how they could have had 5 years of no contact and anger, mostly from Andy's side, but anger and frustration with each other, but also understand how through having some conversations it could be resolved. So I thought that was very well done. And Andy's also like working through some grief. Her dad dies. That's not a spoiler, but he died. He doesn't die. He died before the events of the book take place, and she's also like working through her grief, and the end is kind of focusing on that, some of that more. And I did start to tear up. Like, it was really well talked about and made me want to give my dad a big hug. So all in all, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. And now we're going to move on to the next book. The next book that I want to read is Savor It by Tara DeWitt. I have never read anything by her before, and I just got this on hold from the library on my Kindle on Libby. So I need to read it in 2 weeks, or I have to like extend my like checkout. So because I just got it, it feels like perfect timing to read that for this video. And then I have a few things in the back of my mind. I don't want to read only romance this week. I've got a few on my TBR by authors I've never read before, but I haven't made any concrete decisions about that. So we're going to read Savor It, and that's that. So I will obviously update you as I go. Okay, team, Kate's in my way. I need to make my bed, but I'm 70% through Savor It, and I thought I'd give a little. Oh, I just hit Kate. 70% through, and I don't know that I talked about this book at all because I didn't really know what it was about before I started it, but the main characters, Sage and I can't remember his name. Fisher's a chef who got fired from his job in New York, and in order to like get back in the good graces of his boss, he is sent to Spoons, Oregon to help her like start her new restaurant there. He's also the legal guardian of his sister's child, so his niece, and she's like 15. So the two of them show up in Spoons, and Sage is their neighbor, and Sage is like the girl that grew up there. She's never really left. She doesn't want to leave. She loves Spoons, and she kind of like takes them under her wing and like helps them get acquainted in the town. But of course there's some like sexual tension between her and Fisher, but Fisher's only in town for the summer, so there's like that whole thing of like he's not here for a long time. And oh, another main thing is he is helping her compete in the like town competition, the annual like festival of spoons, because her ex boyfriend is engaged to someone new and he always wins, and she really wants to win this year, so he agreed to help her win. It's because you compete in a team. So that is kind of like what's happening. They're like studying because there's like a canoe race, there's like trivia on the history of spoons, and there's like a cooking competition, and obviously he's a chef. So it's interesting. Obviously there's a lot of background that I don't really feel like I can talk about because it would spoil it, but Fisher has like some very deep and serious like personal things. There's a reason why he got fired from his job. And Sage kind of has some struggles of like being the town golden girl and like wanting to please everyone, and like everyone like expects her to do like what she's always done, and maybe she wants to do something different, who knows. But I'm really enjoying it actually. I've been flying through it, but 70% through I'm like feeling nervous for how it's gonna end, or like if we're gonna have a third act breakup, if we're gonna like, I'm not sure. I'm feeling scared for the ending because it feels that it's approaching soon and there doesn't seem to be a good resolution in sight. So we'll see how that goes, but that is my final or mid-ish way through thoughts about Savor It. Okay, I finished Savor It. I did shed a few tears. Why is it that like all of the books, not all of the books, but when I looked back on Goodreads at like 4 out of the 10 of the last books that I read had a dead partner, a dead parent, orphaned, like I can't handle that. I will cry. It makes me sob every time. So needless to say, there is death. There's a death of a parent, obviously, that happened previously to this, and Sage, well actually 2 of the characters, Indy, who is Fisher's niece, he's like taking care of her. His sister, so Indy's mom, died, so that's one. And then Sage, the FMC, and also like her brothers are in this book too, but their mom and dad both died. Also, the bad publicity, also at the beginning of this, dead dad. Let's Call a Truce, which I read even before bad publicity. I haven't talked about it in this video. Dead spouse. She's a widow. Book of the month, which I gave 5 stars earlier this month. Orphaned. 2 dead parents. So I don't know what it is about that, but I like have been crying so much over books recently. so much. I did decide on, I believe, a 4. I think I'm gonna give this a 4.5. I put it as a 4 in Goodreads. I might change it to a 5, depending on if I'm feeling like that 4.5 is leaning more up or more down. Normally you would round up from a 5, from like a 0.5. So I don't know. I need to sit on it, marinate a little, but that's kind of where I'm sitting right now on Savor It. So completed that one. And so funny story, this whole video is supposed to be me reading books by authors I haven't read before. I have read a book by Tara DeWitt before. I read Funny Feeling, but I didn't realize that that was the same author. It did not click for me until I was putting my rating in Goodreads, and I was like, what other books does she have out? Oh, Funny Feeling, which I have read. So, although it's not quite, it doesn't really count for this challenge, I'm still putting it in this video. I made an oopsie, but we're gonna ignore it because I've already filmed me talking about it and it's going in this video. As you saw, I selected for my next book, A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. This is kind of like a Viking or like Nordic fantasy. It was a book of the month book that I picked a few months ago. And I was talking to a few friends at book club last month or 2 months ago that had read this recently, and they had good things to say about it. So I'm gonna choose this as my next read, because I wanted to not only do romance books for this video. So this is me doing a fantasy book for this video. I did think about picking back up A Tempest of Tea, which I soft DNF'd earlier this year, because I would like to give it another shot, and I have not read anything by that author before, who I can't read while from the shelf, but it was between this one and that one. I'm gonna go with this because, as I said, I soft DNF'd A Tempest of Tea earlier this year, and I'm just not sure if it's the right time to get back into it. It's definitely gonna be giving like cozy fall vibes. So hopefully when the time is right, I will pick that up and it'll be good, because I've heard really good things about it, but it just wasn't hitting for me in the moment. So yeah, we're gonna go with this, A Fate Inked in Blood. I'm excited. I have not really I always have high hopes that it's going to be a 5-star. Like, I always go into a book hoping it's going to be 5 stars. Like, you don't want to go into it hoping it's going to be 3 stars. So we're going in it, and I'll obviously keep you updated. Alexa, volume 1. Okay. Hello. I'm gonna do a little update on A Fate Inked in Blood. Let me grab it. Here she is. I am 155 pages in, so that puts me at like 35%. I'm gonna honestly try and finish it this afternoon. I have friends coming in town this weekend, so I know I'm not gonna read. I wanted to get this video done before they were here, but I still have one more book I want to read for this video, so I'm gonna try and finish this today, and then I'll come back after they're gone next week to read our next book. But so far, what I can tell you about it is, Freya, our main character, you can gather this from the back, she has like a very rare like power. So the way that like powers work is that if you know anything about like Nordic mythology, like, or if you've seen Thor, like Thor's a Norse god, Odin, like those are the Norse gods. It's like Vikings. If that eliminates any other confusion also. So they're Vikings, and there's lots of raiding, there's lots of that kind of thing. Think How to Train Your Dragon, except they have powers. And the way you get those powers is that when you're born, like you get a drop of a god's blood, and then you have kind of like the powers of that god, kind of like Percy Jackson, or you know, something similar to that, where depending on who your godly parent is, those are the powers that you get. So Freya has like a drop of blood from the god Hiln, and so that makes her the something shield, like the silver shield or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. Shield, so that makes her the shield maiden. So basically there was this prophecy foretold that the shield maiden would be revealed by fire, and she would like unite the kingdoms under one king. And so the Jarl, I believe is how you pronounce it, it's Jarl, is like the, I want to say like governor or like leader of a certain tribe, and there's a bunch of tribes. And so the prophecy is that she will unite all of the tribes under one Jarl who becomes the king, and then they can like defeat their enemies or whatever. And so the Jarl who like discovers she's the shield maiden, because she's been hiding it all of her life because her dad knew that like she would get taken advantage of if people knew what she was. She gets discovered, and the Jarl's name who discovers her is like Snody or Snooty or Snorri. There's lots of weird names. His Snorri, he is like, I'm gonna marry her, and then I will have like control of her, and she will then enable me to be king. But he's obviously like her dad's age, like he's much older than her, and she obviously doesn't want to do it. But that's the way that he thinks he will have control over her, because women are owned by their husbands in this time period. But she has kind of like a flickering, like there's definitely some attraction between her and Snorri's son Bjorn. So, and Bjorn's like more her age, and Bjorn is also like has a drop of God's blood, and that's the God's blood he has is Tyre. That means he has like this fiery axe that he wields. So kind of right now they're going on this like adventure because there was another prophecy after the one that was like, she'll unite all the kings under her kingdom, that's like she has to make a sacrifice on this specific day or she'll die. And so they're trying to get to the place where she'll make the sacrifice, but basically all the other tribes are trying to kill her or take her for themselves, because they don't want Snorri to like be their king. They don't want to be ruled by him, or they want to be king. So there's a lot of people like hunting for her right now, and her and Bjorn are like separating from the rest of the group, so the group will like distract while her and Bjorn go and do their like excursion. So that's kind of where I'm at now. And it's been good so far. Again, like there's a lot of different words and language that I'm not used to, but I feel like if you simplify it down, it's like Percy Jackson with gods, but they're gods that we don't necessarily, names I don't recognize, but that doesn't mean I don't know like the general premise of it. And I recognize like how the powers kind of work, and there's a prophecy. People are after her. If you simplify it down, it's like a fantasy that you will know and love. So that's kind of the thoughts I'm having right now, and I'm going to keep going because now I've talked for too long. I hope that I didn't like spoil a ton right there. I just felt like I needed to give some background on this whole situation, but I'm gonna sit and read and hopefully get some done. But because I have people coming in town, I have to pick them up from the airport, but also I wanted to paint my nails, and I was gonna blow out my hair, but I might do that later tonight depending on stuff. But we're gonna dive into hopefully finishing this, or getting as close as possible to finishing this afternoon. Hey team. So let me straighten you out. I just finished A Fate Inked in Blood. Let me grab it. And I think the last time I talked to you, I was trying to finish it before my friends came in town, and I did not. I still had about 20% left. So I just now finished it. It's Tuesday because my friends were here Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So today was the first day I had an opportunity to finish this. So with that being said, a little recap. I think I talked a lot about it, and there's a lot of things I can't say because obviously there's spoilers, but I will say that like one of the things that happened I kind of saw coming, but there was still a big twist at the end, and part of it I knew, but there was still lots. It was multifaceted, lots of layers, and I obviously can't tell you what I thought it was, but if you've read this, just know that it did have a crazy ending. And I will say, like, from about 70 to 90%, I was kind of like, okay, we get it. And then the last 10% I was like, oh, shock. But the first bit was good. I don't know, something about like 20% there at the end, I was just kind of feeling like it was repetitive, but we made it through. We finished. I did end up giving this one 4 stars. And I'm watching Kate to make sure she does not do anything that I don't like, because she peed on my carpet this morning and I got upset at her. So anyway, she's okay. So that is this book finished. I gave it 4 stars, and now we have one more book to read for this video, and that is going to be A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. And I'm kind of shocked I have not read any Ashley Poston before, because it seems like she would be right up my alley, you know? But I just haven't. I know people love The 7-Year Slip, so that has been on my radar for a while, but I just haven't read it. And this is the only Ashley Poston book I actually physically have a copy of, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one. I have heard mixed reviews, kind of, but I still think it's going to be good, hopefully. I don't even know what this is about. There's a book club retreat. She needs good friends, cheap wine, and grand romantic gestures no matter what. When her car unexpectedly breaks down on the way to the book club retreat, she finds herself stranded in a quaint town that seems like it's right out of a novel. Because it is. Oh, that's so fun. This place can't be real, and yet she's here in Elorton. the town from her favorite romance series, where the candy store's honey taffy is always sweet, the local bar's burgers are always a little burnt, and rain always comes in the afternoon. It feels like home. It's perfect and perfectly frozen, trapped in the late author's last unfinished story. Elsie is sure that must be why she's here, to help bring the town its storybook ending. Except there's a character in a lore town whom she can't place, a grumpy bookstore owner with green eyes and an irritatingly smooth mouth and impeccable taste in novels, and he does not want her finishing this book, which is a problem because Elsie's beginning to think the town's happily ever after just might be intertwined with her own. I love a book about books, which I kind of knew from the novel part in the title that this was going to be about books. I do have the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I don't know if that gives me anything special, but this is like 350 pages. It's kind of, it feels like I should be able to kind of fly through this, maybe finish it today. I don't want to promise that, but I do have another video that I wanted to start filming today, but I don't think I'm going to be able to because I haven't finished this video. So I'm going to try and read this quick so I can start my next video, because I'm starting to get behind because I didn't finish this video when I wanted to, which is okay. I don't like to pressure myself into feeling like I have to read stuff, because then that's what puts me in a book slump and I don't want to read. So we are going to start a novel love story and it's going to be good. So let me mark it as want to read in my Goodreads and we'll get going.
What to say? So let me put it this way. I do not care just what you do. I know I made the best of you. If I had my way, I'd have you right now. I'll wait for someday, somewhere, somehow. If I had my way, I'd have you right now. I'll wait for someday, somewhere, somehow.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a quick little update on a novel love story. I'm on page 280 of 350, so I'm probably not gonna finish it tonight, unfortunately, because it is 10:45 and I have work tomorrow, so I want to go to bed and not be exhausted tomorrow. But I have been reading with my highlighter out and I have been making some tabs. I don't know if you can see, just a few, because I have been high key relating to the main girl in this, Eileen or Elsie, and there's just some really, like, let me see if I can find something that won't, like, that I highlighted that's not like a spoiler, you know. Sometimes people came into your life for brief moments and changed you forever. I think he was my person. Your hands are gentle and cold. You use them a lot, but no one ever holds them to keep them warm. Fictional men can't hold them. There's someone for you, someone real. The nights I sat alone and wondered, why not me? Those books were like arms I fell into, armor that protected me from the world when life got too hard. It was love that I knew wouldn't fail me. It was safe. It was a comfort when I was heartbroken and yearning to feel something good, because I couldn't imagine it on my own. Anyway, she's just like a bookworm, and she ends up in the small town from her favorite book series, obviously. And although that has not happened to me, I also am like a big romance reader and perpetually single, and I feel that desire to be loved and in a relationship, but also like nothing compares to a book sometimes, and it's hard to kind of let that not cloud your judgment when it comes to real life. Anyway, those are kind of my thoughts, and like I said, I'm not going to finish it tonight. I will read probably one more chapter because they were about to have sex, I think. So I do want to finish that tonight, and then I'll finish it fully tomorrow and give you my final thoughts for this video. Okay, I'm just hopping on here to kind of close the loop on talking about a novel love story. I did end up giving this one 5 stars. It's probably like 4.5, 4.75, but I did give it 5 in Goodreads because you gotta round up. But it was really close to 5 stars. I've got some tabs in here. I did some really good highlighting. Like Elsie, the FMC, was so just like relatable and close to my heart. I've said this before and I will continue to say it, I love a book about books, and this is no exception. A book about bookish people, bookstores. Like, she's a reader, a romance reader at that, and I love a romance reader. I'm a romance reader, and that's a plus. Check. +1 for that. +2 because Anders, or Anderson, I believe is his full name. Obsessed with him. Like, I am normally, blondes are not my type. I'm like a tall, dark, and handsome. Like, I love like dark hair, dark features, more broody and mysterious. But Anders was giving broody and mysterious while being a blonde, which is like crazy. Never happens. And I like the way that this book ended with Elsie being content and happy apart from a relationship. I thought that was very realistic and a good thing to note and to remember is in romance books, yes, I love a happily ever after. I want that. And we get that in this book. But I also don't want to be so caught up in the relationship aspect of a romance, of like them getting together, that we lose sight of the main character, like her character development, all that she's learned. Like, she is happy and content with her friends, with this life that she is creating, aside from a man. Because we don't need a man to be content and have a good life. It's a nice plus and it makes things better for sure. At least in Elsie's case. But, or a partner. I don't want to say a man, but it could be anyone. I love a book that has like good values of like female friendship and her kind of going after a career that she thought she wanted but ended up not wanting. Like, it was really good. So that's kind of my thoughts on a novel love story. I am not done with this video. This was me reading books from new authors, and actually now that I've read this, I'm filming another video and I'm reading The 7-Year Slip in that video. So if you want to see me react to that video, that'll be up, I believe, after this one next week. But that is going to be that's my roommate picking out what I read for a week. She already picked out the books. I've already actually read one of the books for that video. The timelines are all getting confused in my head of like when I'm filming which video, but I have already read one of the books for that video. I'm so excited. It's going to be a good one with some really good books, I hope. And I discovered new people that I love in this video. Tara DeWitt, even though I had actually already read one of her books, that was the first book I talked about in this, Savor It, but I also read another one of hers since I read Savor It because I loved Savor It so much, and I read the co-op and that was so good. So I love to discover someone new. Like, I will always have my tried and trues. I will always have my Lynn Painter. I will always have my Emily Henry, my Allie Hazelwood, but I love to discover new authors, and there's so many good books out there that I could be missing out on. So, thank you for watching this video. As always, you can find me all over the rest of the interweb. TikTok, Instagram, watch my old videos. There's lots to be seen and heard from me for the bookish content. They're always linked down below, and I'll see you somewhere else on the internet. Bye, guys.